Hello, esteemed viewers. This is BVI Channel 1, and I welcome you on today's live broadcast coming to you from the studios of BVI here in Biafra land. I still remain Andriod Peters, and today we are on the program Biafra Discourse. This is a program that we have not been doing for some time, for some reasons, but now we've overcome some of the challenges that we've been facing, and here we'll be bringing you this special program on weekly basis here on this platform where we discuss everything about Biafra. That's why it's called Biafra Discourse. And today we're going to be talking about the master plan to Biafra independence. Biafra independence master plan. That is what we're going to be talking about. Do Biafra people have a master plan to achieve this independence, or is this something that will happen miraculously? Like some have said that you will sleep in Nigeria and you wake up in Biafra. Maybe someday, somehow, Biafra will be declared. Is that how it's going to happen? Or is it going to be a workout process, going from one plan to the other, or having a roadmap to achieve this independence? On today's program, I have with me live Barrister Emeka, a very renowned Biafran activist, the leader of Mobi, and the originator of the due process for right to self-determination for indigenous people of Biafra. I am talking about Barrister Emeka, who is joining me live from London. And it's my pleasure to welcome the barrister on the studio. Hello, Barrister. It's a pleasure having you here on Biafra Discourse.
Thank you very much. Chinedu Peters. I'm very grateful to be in the studio with you. And I greet all the Biafrans who are listening to us. Greetings to all of you.
All right. This is a live broadcast. You can call this line that you're seeing right there on top of the channel. You can see it up there. You can call the number up there, 0810-4545-533, or you add +23 if you are calling us from outside the country. Okay, so we'll be talking about the roadmap for Biafra independence, the master plan for Biafra independence with Barrister Emeka this night. Don't forget the number I told you about right there is on WhatsApp or on direct line, so you can call directly so that we can get your submission. We'll be reading out some of your commentaries as we proceed on this program. Don't forget to click like, share, and also subscribe to this channel as we proceed on this very program. And this program, some people will always call me after the program. This program is live today, being the 15th day of May, and in the next, by 7:30 p.m. Biafran time, this program will no longer be live. But you can also watch it and also drop your comment, because the discussion will continue from the comment section. Hello, Barrister. It's good to have you after a very long time. I would like to ask you, how has it been so far so good or so far so bad with your experience in this journey for Biafra independence, before we now delve into some of the master plan for Biafra independence?
Well, I would say it's been wonderfully good. It's fine. It's very good. Can't say it's bad. Because in the journey we experiences that make us to re-strategize and to be wiser. You know, experience is important in everything you do. So when we started, we didn't know many things. But as we continued, we started seeing things. What I mean, we didn't know many things. the challenges we will encounter on the way. So, but as we continued, we started encountering some challenges, and we were able to handle those challenges, able to ride over them, and step over them, and advance the movement. That is good. So I would say so far so good. Everything we have experienced, even if you think they're ugly experiences, we are there to help us. They were there to fashion us to have better fighting skill in the methodology we have adopted. So far, so good. Did you get me?
Yeah, I heard you. We had some problem with our audio. Your voice is coming twice. So we I just discovered the signal had been sent, and I just have to ratify it. You can proceed with what you're saying. Go on, go on.
Yes, I said that even though some experiences had may be described as ugly experiences, but we look at the experiences from the positive side, that these experiences have helped us onto maturity, to sharpen us, or sharpen our skills, sharpen our understanding of what we are into. And the experiences have become a kind of stepping stone for us to move forward for better strategy. So far so good. All the experiences we have had so far, in fact, I would say they are positive experiences.
All right. Now, give us a preview or a summary. What you think Biafran people should do in order to have their freedom? The steps that they're supposed to take. What strategy are you adopting in your own group? And what is your advice to other agitating groups as well?
Well, when I came into the struggle, and I came in with a plan, with a roadmap, which I shared with the elders, and they all keyed into the program. That was the beginning of the body called Indigenous People of Biafra. I didn't just wake up. I didn't just wake up and start. There was a plan.
Give us your overview.
Even the name is reason for it. So the first thing is that the people we are talking about are the Biafrans. You know, when we talk about Biafra, the federal government of Nigeria and some other people don't understand. They say there's no Biafra because the Republic of Biafra ceased to exist. But we now had to make them understand that what we are talking about are the people of Biafra. That's why I call them indigenous people of Biafra, the remnants of Biafra. So with that name, I now brought the roadmap before the elders. The elders saw the roadmap. What we say is this: we are going to use the legal methodology. There are many ways to get independence. With the military methodology, the military method, and it did not work. Fine. We said, okay, we're going to use the legal methodology. Three processes: the judicial process, the political process, and the diplomatic process. These three processes: judicial, political, and diplomatic. Now, these are the three processes we are using to achieve independence, and we are getting it. We don't want to use military. We have, in fact, nobody agrees that military option should be considered. So that's why we are using these three processes that constitute the legal methodology. And I don't think any person can fault any of these processes. So in a nutshell, we are talking about legal methodology consisting of the judicial process, the diplomatic process, and political process. If you then want me to break them down gradually, we will go ahead. But these are the three processes that constitute the legal methodology. Processes, yes. The, the yes, diplomatic, yes. Okay.
Political process in Nigeria is in shambles, and considering the three methodologies you have just spoken of, the political, the judiciary, the legal, I mean
No.
the diplomacy. Tell me,
Yes.
how sure will you think that political process can grant Biafran people independence, considering the Nigerian politics, the Nigerian constitution, and the corruption in the system? How are you sure that Biafran people can be granted their independence through, or can achieve their independence through the political process?
Okay. That's a good question. Now, in a project like this, Biafran project, it is a complex project. And because it's a complex project, it is advisable to approach it in phases. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, as the case may be. Every project appraiser understands that a complex project should be phased. After you have done the feasibility and viability studies, you then now know how to phase the project. Now, we have entered the second phase of the Biafran project. I've always told you that the first phase is complete. First phase is the awareness creation, and the awareness has been created all over the world. The news about Biafra is everywhere in the world. The next stage is the second phase, and that is the phase we are talking about, regional autonomy or restructuring to have regional governance. Now, you're asking me, how can politics be employed in self-determination? Yes, we want to go first to second stage, and that is getting autonomy, getting regional governance. Now, when we get regional governance, before we talk about the third stage, that is the outright independence from Nigeria, your question is whether we can use politics to even get to where we are going. Yes, the answer is yes. Now, you brought up the question of rigging election. The question now, who rigs election? Who comes to their place to rig? Now, you said that Buhari rigged the election. Did Buhari come to the field to rig? Who did he use to rig those elections? You tell me that so governor rigged. Who did he use to rig? You can see that it is still the people, our people they used. That
when you talk about the rigging of the election by the political class, how are you going to cut it out? How are you going to make sure that the rigging doesn't happen, to enable
okay.
the Biafran people get the Biafran spirited people into government houses? How do you plan to do that?
Okay, it is the people's power that can do that. You know, we did it the first time. There was a governor we put in power some time ago, and that governor, there was the opponent wanted to rig, but all the people in that state, the youths, every person came out with a red eye and said, if you rig this thing today, every person will die here. And they saw that it was not possible. Assuming that we have a Biafran candidate and all of us voted for him, and we are there, we stayed there and make sure the votes are counted. Nobody can rig it there. It will not be possible to rig election in that situation. You may now go to the next level. Okay, go ahead. You may now go to the next level and say, okay, suppose the court, because I have seen many people talking about what the Supreme Court did. We will get to that level. But first of all, suppose we now defend our votes. After voting, we make sure that the person we voted, that is the person that will be declared. But let us, at that stage, before the next level of rigging, they now call government rigging or Supreme Court rigging or whatever. We shall get to that. We shall discuss that. But the first thing is the people that voted can make it happen.
Okay, the people that make it happen is the ordinary people out there. Now you have to understand the fact that the people out there, the ordinary people out there are vulnerable people because they've used over the years hunger and poverty to use, they use it as an instrument to bring back themselves into power. Because when people are hungry, they are vulnerable to be used to rig the election. So how do you tackle poverty and hunger?
When you talk about poverty and hunger, yes, I agree with you that hunger or poverty can make somebody vulnerable. That also is a way to make someone, to know someone who has principle, someone who has determination to stand for what is right. Yes, it is a testing period, a temptation. You don't have money and you are given bribe to do what is wrong. Can you resist that temptation? You can see that it now boils to the moral standard of that person. Some people will say, instead of me to sell my conscience, to mortgage my conscience, to do evil because of hunger, let me die hungry. While a weak-minded person will say, let me eat the money, let me take the money and eat. After all, I'm hungry. And then he or she will mortgage his future. So it is now left for the people themselves, and maybe that's where national orientation comes in. You need to teach the people so that they will not be like Esau, who because of hunger sold his birthright. So they can endure that little hunger, endure it, and make sure that they do not put the wrong person in power because of hunger. It is the people that will make it happen. So if they sell their votes because of hunger and put a criminal in power, of course a criminal will rule over them.
And the viewers, you are listening to this conversation and some of you are dropping your comment. Please plead with you to bear with us on initial volume of the audio output, but we've just ratified that. We are still on the program Biafra Discourse, and with me right here is Barrister Emeka Shri. We are talking about the roadmap to Biafra independence, and we are narrowing it down to the strategies, talking about the diplomacy, talking about the political, and talking about the judicial process. Now, we've singled out political process for today, and we are discussing it, and we are highlighting some of the challenges and why many Biafran people have opted out of that process, the political process. Now, Barrister, there is something people will always say, that they've always said and believe that the political process is no-go area. Wonderful. Now, if the political process is no-go area, if you remove political process, and if you remove the judicial process, because many of our people don't believe that Biafra will be gotten from the courts. They so much believe in the United Nations, international community. Now, tell us, since you've mentioned these three, going for the diplomatic process, does it mean, or can diplomatic process be engaged, abandoning the other two? Give us your own insight about that. Can diplomatic process be engaged actively, involving international communities and lobbying them to support Biafra independence, bypassing political and judicial process? Can that grant us the independence we so desire?
No. Now listen. These These three processes go simultaneously. I'm surprised that some people are saying that the judicial power cannot be used. It is the judicial power that ceded Bakassi to Cameroon. It is by the power of the judicial, that is the International Court of Justice, that ceded Bakassi to Cameroon. Nevertheless, the evidence that you are in court seeking for self-determination, that evidence alone is strong evidence. Now, the other part of it is organizing yourselves to be governable as a people. The United Nations will not come to give you independence. They only recognize what is on the ground. Unless you are using military, if there is military war, not even ordinary war, the type of war that will be so prolonged that the United Nations Security Council will now make the resolution to interfere with the sovereignty of another country. So if your war is like Biafra Nigerian war, they will not come in.
If you call the kind of fraud, even if Nnamdi is not fraud, even if it's a fraud, it won't have to come on the news and tell everybody that Nnamdi is fraud. I know it's not fraud. I'm watching Nnamdi has watched his parents. I don't think anybody going to use his father doing fraud. You know what I mean? That's all I have to contribute. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much. It's unfortunate that the setup is having some problem. Please, guys, bear with us on this mix-up. Let us bear with us.
But I had his question. I had his question.
Did you hear him, Barrister? Did you hear what he said?
Yes, I had his question. I had his question very well.
What's your response to that?
Yeah, he's talking about the three people uniting, Nnamdi Kanu, Tony Nnadi, and Emeka Emekeshiri uniting instead of fighting one another. That is what he's saying. That Tony Nnadi is calling Nnamdi Froster or whatever. Well, Tony Nnadi has a roadmap. He called it, he said there will be constitutional force majeure. That is a major force that will break down Nigerian constitution and Nigeria will disintegrate. And I will explain what force majeure means in law. Nnamdi Kanu's method, I don't really know his strategy, but I know he was doing protest. I don't know whether by the protest he will get independence. But if Tony Nnadi's plan works. I don't know how he's going to achieve that constitutional force majeure. That is, constitution of Nigeria will just break down. There will be, it becomes undoable. Nigeria breaks down, collapses. I don't know how he intends to achieve that. Usually, force majeure is act of God. Only God causes it, like earthquake or thunder. Something happens and renders everything impossible to perform. So I don't know how Tony wants to achieve that. Nnamdi Kanu's method of protest and maybe calling people names, calling Buhari whatever names, all those things. I don't know whether that is also, that his method can work for him. But we have chosen our own method. And now this man is saying that 3 of us should join. Now, just listen now, and let us see. Listen.
Direct, and I want to know something regarding Enugu. No wonder Enugu station keeps falling all the time. There is a place we understand that Okorocha's people are going to and saying that they are IPOB. They were in Ugwago today. The animal rights people that Ugwago today, they are not IPOB. And I want to tell the Biafran volunteers at Enugu, anybody who is not sanctioned by your coordinator saying they are IPOB, if you can't verify them, I want you to render them useless from today onwards. Anybody who is IPOB, bury them alive. Let me repeat what I said. It's a direct order. There is only one IPOB. These people are working for Rochas Okorocha. I've been warning you people, you don't want to listen. These people are working with Buhari. You don't listen to what I'm saying. We are not in court with anybody.
To work together. Okay, the caller that called from US said that there is urgent need for all to work together. In summary, do you agree with him? Do you agree with
I have told you. Now it will only be possible if you stop this threat. This one I told you said that any person that is in court, any IPOB that is in court should be killed, assassinated. That is what they said. So how will you be able to work together with such a person who says any person that is IPOB that is in court should be assassinated?
In your own opinion, the essence of unity has been ruled out. There is no possibility towards that.
Well, okay, ask this person who made this order to assassinate them. Ask him first. That is the issue. He says those of us that are using this method should be assassinated.
Okay, but nobody has been assassinated yet. But we are talking about now. If there is Barrister, if there is any possibility for Biafran groups to unite together, will you be part of it?
Fine, yes, if there's possibility. But you cannot be threatening my life and say there's possibility. And people are saying that, yes, they will carry out his order. So how can you? Let us call a spade a spade. Somebody said they don't want any person that's using the legal method. You should be assassinated. They're not in court.
Anyway, that is all we have for now, and we are running out of time for today. Barrister, is honestly a pleasure having you on this program. We hope to have you subsequently next week, where we'll continue on this discussion for self-determination of Biafran people on Biafra Discourse. Thank you, Barrister, for joining us.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you, my dear. Thank you.
And to our esteemed viewers,
bye. Okay.
This is the program we bring it to you live on BVI Channel 1. We're bringing you this program on BVI Channel 1, and today we had Barrister Emeka who joined us from London, from where he resides in London. We appreciate his time, and I believe you guys have heard it from him, and we hope that as we proceed, more people will be coming on this platform and we'll be discussing it. And I tell you, we're going to improve on the audio. We've got a new mic, and it's just to set it up properly. And trust me, when next we'll be coming here, you'll be having the audio working well and fine and upgraded to the point where you can hear us loud and clear. On this note, I am signing out and saying stay blessed, and most importantly, stay safe. Goodbye.